Hi, everybody. Real progressives. We're literally at the eve of an election, a presidential election. And there are a couple things that just sticks out to me from going back and forth, just being out there talking to people, seeing where their heart is, seeing what their thoughts are. A lot of people have been doing a lot of work on these campaigns and trying to just make their voices heard. Um, what I realize is that this revolution is literally in our hands. This revolution, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We can't wait on anyone else to do the job that needs to be done. They don't even believe that there's a problem in the first place. You and I are going to have to. We're gonna have to push up a steep hill. We're gonna have to do whatever we can to bring ourselves to a more perfect union. And a lot of things that stick out to me. There are so many people in the tank for Hillary Rodham Clinton um, that it's unreal. I see people. I see people just are literally begging for people to go back to sleep. Literally begging for people to turn into a zombie because they are afraid of Donald Trump, the person that Hillary Rodham Clinton propped up for her to run against because she thought that he'd be a much easier choice. This is what's scary to me is how naive they are. Honestly, guys, I want you to follow me for a second. This election, and you guys, I know you feel the same way because you know a lot of information, you know a lot of different things that sometimes you probably walk down the street and just wish you, goddamn it, didn't know it. You just wish you didn't know it sometimes because sometimes it's like it's a lonely feeling. Let me give you a thought for a second to put in your mind. What if Joker was really the good guy and Batman was really the bad guy? We all know it's just a comic book, but think about that. What if actually Joker was the good guy? That's how I feel sometimes. You and I are being cast out as the Joker. You and I are being laughed at as the crazy one. You and I are being talked to as if we don't know what we're talking about. While the elites in Washington, they go behind closed doors and they laugh at us, of course, for telling the truth, but it's not enough of us telling the truth. It's not enough of us pushing back on economics. It's just not enough of us. I've seen so many things out there today and a couple weeks now that so many people are in the tank for Hillary Rodham Clinton. They are willing to even block you or delete you if you've been a friend for years. That's what we're dealing with. But I'm going to say this here, and because I can never preach it enough. Steve can never say it enough. Regardless of whether you hold a Trump sign or a Hillary Rodham Clinton sign, economics is king. If we don't learn the basics of economics, we're not going to be able to fight them when they start trying to cut the national debt. We're not going to be able to fight them because you can bet Hillary Rodham Clinton is going to do everything. The main priority in her platform is going to be deficit reduction. It's coming. I can promise you. Deficit reduction is coming from Hillary Rodham Clinton. Think about what they did in the 90s. Bill Clinton got together with Newt Gingrich and they slashed welfare for millions of families. They slashed welfare to balance the budget. So many families went hungry to balance a budget for a country that's monetary sovereign. Are you kidding me? Is that how low we have really stooped down? Austerity does not work. Of course, John, right? Austerity doesn't work. It will never work. Greece is basically tried austerity. Look how that worked. It does not work. We're not in the tank for Donald Trump here at Real Progressives. But we don't spend time talking about Donald Trump because he's a distraction. We don't spend time talking about Donald Trump because he is the prop. Why waste my time talking about someone who the media talks about every single day? If the media was talking negatively of Donald Trump, then and only then would I even consider wasting my time talking about Donald Trump. Crystal, Social Security, is probably going to be on chopping blocks when it comes to Hillary Rodham Clinton. The reason I'm more afraid of Hillary Rodham Clinton than I am of Donald Trump is because I don't see anyone trying to challenge or stop Hillary Rodham Clinton. They won't even challenge her for any of her corruption. So if they won't challenge her for being corrupt or any of the emails that blankly show that she's corrupt, she can propose to privatize Social Security and put a bow on it and sell it to her vote blue buddies. And then the Republicans are gonna love it. And then they're gonna think that they're just saving the deficit. We gotta do it, guys. Listen, if you vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton, just be prepared to be responsible when she starts bombing other countries. If you vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton, be prepared. Be prepared to own these things. Listen, if you vote for a corrupt warmonger, I gotta be fair here. If you knowingly vote for a corrupt warmonger, you are an accomplice to her corruption. You're basically driving the getaway car and chipping it on the gas. That's basically that's basically what you're doing. Listen, we gotta have standards. There's got to be a time when we got to say enough is enough. I'm not trying to make any headways tonight. I'm not trying to. All I'm trying to do here is just speak truth. If we don't get to the point to where we are prepared to lose an election, because all I hear is third party can't win, third party can't win, third party can't win. So if basically, let's vote for Hitler then because he can win. Basically, in so many words, it's not about who can win. It's about how do we get to a situation where we can build a real left-wing movement and put progressives in the House and the Senate. How can we get there? We don't get there by repeating the same steps that has had us in the same place for decades after decades. We don't get there. But honestly, guys, I am confident that we can get Jill to 5%. I'm confident that we can get Dr. Jill Stein to 5%. We have to get her to 5%. We get her to 5%. That's millions of dollars in federal funding. Ballot access. This is what we've been seeking, guys. Listen, this party here, and I'm no member of any party anymore, but if we can get them to buy into the things that we need them to buy into, then they may have a home for us. We may actually lock arms with them, but only until we see what we want to see. And as Steve said earlier, if we don't see a ground game from them in the near future, where they're trying to elect people in the House and the Senate, and even in the local elections, then we're just going to move on because you got to have a ground game. You're not going to win an election without a ground game. We're never going to make any headways without a ground game. We actually have to build from the ground up. We have to organize. We have to organize. If we don't, then we're not going to get there. We're not going to get there. But we have to get Dr. Jill Stein to 5%. And we have to get as many people as we can to actually embrace economics. I don't care if I do it every single day. Economics is king. Economics. I don't care if someone else has to be the messenger. I don't care. I just want it out there. I want it in the streets. I want people to know that taxes don't fund federal spending. I want people to know that every tax dollar that goes into the economy is a new dollar. I was debating with someone recently, and they was saying that, taxes creating money causes inflation. It doesn't. It doesn't cause inflation. When you have a $500 billion trade deficit, when you have a lot of private debt, when you have an economy that's nowhere near full employment, it does not cause inflation. But it's like, it's going to be like, the hill is going to be steep, unwilling to climb it. Because you know what? We have to do whatever we can to get people to realize that taxes don't fund federal spending. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to continue to educate myself because this is king. This is what everything is about. I don't care what sign you hold, which side of the axle you are, which side of the political axle you're on. Economics is king. We have to get people to embrace economics. We have to teach millions of people to be able to push back when these politicians in Washington tell us that we're too broke to fund federal programs. We're not broke. We're monetary sovereign. We don't have to cut the poor and put the poor in worse shape to balance a freaking budget that's going to send us into a recession anyway. That's the part that really aggravates me. This is not an opinion here. This is not a situation where we're just making things up. Every time in our nation history where our deficits were too small and where our GDP was below 3.1%, we had a recession without exception. Without exception. It gets tired and it gets frustrated. We all know that. But we can never get too tired to take on the defenders of the status quo. Tomorrow, as we get ready to cast our vote for Dr. Jill Stein, we're going to be taking on the defenders of the status quo. I'm a little bit sad about it, though, in a way. And I'm a little bit sad about it because it should be just Republicans and Donald Trumps and conservatives that we're taking the stand against. We shouldn't have to take a stand against defenders of the status quo for people like you and I. It shouldn't be Democrats that we have to take a stand against. But that is what it is. We can care less about identity politics. We can care less about basically what party you are. This is all about moving forward. And all you people out here that are saying Jill can't win. If you all voted for Jill, she'll win. But we're playing chess, not checkers. It's about getting us to 5% of the vote. I need you guys to stay focused. I need you guys to find many people that's on the fence that's wanting to vote for Hillary Clinton, that's not really wanting to vote for Hillary Clinton, but they feel like they're forced to. They don't know about Dr. Jill Stein. Let them know about Dr. Jill Stein. I convinced a few today to vote for Dr. Jill Stein. I convinced a few today that was going to vote for Gary Johnson. No, don't vote for Gary Johnson. Vote for Dr. Jill Stein. Gary Johnson is not our friend. He wants to cut spending to the lowest of the lows and send us into a full-blown depression. No, thank you. No, thank you. Dr. Jill Stein is the only viable candidate in this race. She's the last progressive candidate standing. We need many people behind her as possible. We need to do what all we can do. Let's continue to do what they said couldn't be done. What the cynics said couldn't be done. Because you know what we're going to do? We're not ever falling back in line again. We're not ever going to fall asleep again. We're going to do what they always said we couldn't do. We're going to build a real left-wing movement. A movement that embraces MMT. It's gonna be centered around economics. This is what we're gonna start doing going forward. We're gonna do whatever we can to stack the damn House and the Senate with progressive candidates that embrace MMT. Period. We're gonna change our country. We're gonna steal a playbook out of the Tea Party. We're gonna take something from the Tea Party. We're gonna take over Washington, and it's gonna be on our terms. It's going to be on our terms. And it's voting for the lesser of the two evils. We tossing that out. We begin that tomorrow when we vote for Dr. Jill Stein. We get to 5%. Even if we get to 5%, it's going to scare the hell out of the establishment. The Democratic Party going to look at that and say, whew, they actually got to 5%. But that, don't get me wrong, we're not trusting them. We're not going to let our foot up off the gas then. We will not let up. We will not let up. We get to 10, 15%, we still will not let up. Don't get me wrong. It's going to scare the hell out of them. They're going to think twice before they decide to rig an election again. They're going to think twice. And if she loses Donald Trump, you guys propped her up. You guys propped her up and put her up against Donald Trump when Bernie Sanders was beating Donald Trump by 15 percentage points in every matchup poll. So don't blame us if the outcome if that becomes your outcome. Because you know what? I personally don't give a damn. Because they are the same two people. They're not talking about the issues we care about. They're not talking about abolishing the death penalty. They're not talking about ending fracking. They're not talking about enough about the environment. They're not talking enough about getting rid of private prisons. Hillary Clinton says something about private prisons every now and then. But she also has taken private money from the private prison lobbyists. And she was also called people a super predator. And she called the crime bill that had put more blacks and brown people in prison than any other body in the nation or the world for that matter. She called it a great plan. She took credit for it. And now she want to back away from it. You can't have it both ways, Hillary Clinton. But you know what? That's the way she do. That's what she does. So what we're going to do, we're going to show them what we were really about. We're going to show them how serious we are. We're going to show them that we are a force to be reckoning with. And the way we do this is we stay on this game. We need you guys. November the 9th, we need you guys. I want to see you here. November the 9th, I want to see you guys with the same enthusiasm. They need to know that they have to answer to us. If they know that they only have to deal with us for a short election cycle, I promise you they will always steamroll us. I need you guys out there, front lines, front row, ready to go. Ready to take a stand against the status quo, because if we don't destroy the system that produces Hillary Rodham Clinton, we're going to always get Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'm tired of seeing Americans being too afraid to stand up for what they believe in. We have people out here that are so scared of Trump that they're pushing their values and what they stand for to the side. If we don't get rid of this system, we're going to have people always burying what they believe in to the side. And what happened as a result, we're going to get people's ideas are going to continue to be buried deeper and deeper, and we never get to in the issue that the people care about, never make it to the forefront. As I say it over and over again, and I'm going to say it till the cows come home, that voting for the lesser of the two evils is the most brilliant strategy ever used against us to keep a rigged system in place. It's the most brilliant strategy ever used against us. If we could just get people to stop for a second and think about it. If you tell someone in a negotiating room, if you give up all your leverage at the outstart, what makes you think they're going to continuously negotiate with you in good faith? You guys gonna have to forgive me. I had a long day. I'm a little tired now, but you know what? I just had to come out here and talk to you guys for a second on the eve of this election. I just had to come out here. If you give up your bargaining power, our vote is our power. If we start controlling our vote, making them earn our vote, why do you think the top 1% get so much love? Why do you think they get so much love? Why do you think the private prison lobbies, the fossil fuel industry, get so much love from Hillary Rodham Clinton? Because you know what? Before they deliver her them dollars, them campaign donations, those millions of dollars, guess what? She had to show them something. They want to see a plan. They want to know how you're going to take care of these issues that I care about. That's what they want to know. And I don't blame them. You putting up your money. You expect something in return. I don't blame them. Okay. My question is to you guys, why are you putting up your vote and not expecting anything in return? It's your vote. Demand something for it. Demand something for it. This is your vote. This is what people fought, died for. Your vote. Don't just give it up to anyone. Make them earn it. God dang. That's the reason why we are in the situation we are in now. There's millions of us, only a few billionaires. There's millions of us, only a few billionaires. You make them earn your votes. That's when you begin to change the world. But until then, until you continue to just give it up and say you're going to vote blue no matter who, you're going to always get treated like the side chick. The side piece. That's how you're going to get treated, like the side piece. You're going to get treated like someone they can just get to later. Excuse my French. I don't mean to really be so blunt, but I would love to tell you that this is not the way it happens all the time. But this is the way it happens. You know, this is what real progression is about. We're just going to keep it 100 with you. You're going to always get treated like the side person. If you always give up your vote without expecting anything in return. Go to negotiate anything. Negotiate to sell something to anybody. Give up all your leverage power and see what kind of deal you come out with. This is true everywhere. This is true in the workplace. This is true everywhere. You give up all your leverage power, and then you're going to expect them to still fight for you. It's not going to happen. We have to wake up. A lot of us are woke, and a lot of us aren't falling for the same BS anymore. And a lot of us are lit and on fire from that same revolution that some of the burning center started. A lot of people aren't afraid anymore. A lot of people aren't ever going to be able to be steamrolling to vote for someone who stands for everything they're against. That time is now. This is our moment. This is our moment to tear down the two-party system. This is our moment to stand for the values that we all care about, what our ancestors fought and died for. Have a great night, guys. Peace. I'm out.